Welcome back to the Tonight Show. Congratulations about your new musical here, The Bedwetter. This is this is based on your memoir, which I love, The Bedwetter. It was such a great book, super funny. But I want to get into your stand-up. Your stand-up. You're still on tour right now.
Yeah.
And you just filmed your special over the weekend.
Yeah, I'm in the middle of tour, and for some reason I shot my special in the middle of this tour. So.
Yeah.
It was great, but I completely lost my voice right before it.
No.
And
sick
but I had a really good attitude.
Okay.
Because my therapist taught me to say, "Thank you for everything just as it is." And then, it was all right. They pumped me through, filled with steroids.
Ooh.
And that makes it so you can talk. But now I'm like off like they put the steroids in me, and then I had the strength of 10 men, and now I'm just off of steroids, and I feel like, I only have the strength of like 2 men.
Oh my God! Oh my goodness! 2 men! Oh my God! Well, we'll get through this. Since the last time I've talked to you, you've become a homeowner, by the way.
Yeah,
That's a
I
big
never
deal.
had
Congratulations.
a house before. Yeah. Thank you. I never thought I'd live in a house.
You never?
No, I grew up in a house in New Hampshire, but I never thought I'd live in a house, and it's just a lot of work. You can't just call down and be like, "Edgar, my refrigerator doesn't work."
No, you have to do.
I do have a lovely boyfriend Rory Albanese.
I love Rory Albanese. How's he doing? Is he great?
He's awesome.
Does he help around the house?
Oh my God, he's so handy. I feel like I wished for him, and he really, but he. I remember him telling me, he goes, I'm a dad without kids looking for a lawn to mow. And when people, isn't that so sweet? But when people tell you who they are, I always go like, no, you're not. But he really, really is. Like, anytime I'm looking for him, he's like on a ladder, fixing something or like changing a filter. Oh my God. He loves we have a little patch of grass and he loves it so much, and he takes care of it. And he went away for 2 weeks and he would FaceTime me. And he really just wanted to see his grass. Like, he'd be like, "Oh, it's so good to see you. Could you just bring it out to the lawn?" I'd be like...
You're not calling to say hi to me and check in on the one you love?
He wanted to see his grass.
Yeah.
He loves it so much. He works so hard on it.
He's a proud guy. Homeowner. Let's talk the 50th season of Saturday Night Live. This is the 50th season of Saturday Night Live. It's a big deal. They have a giant... big special, February 16th. It's going to be live. You were on the cast when you were a writer and performer when you were 22.
That's right. I was there right before you were there. Then for one season, I made an indelible impact.
You did, absolutely. Yes.
I was there the 1993-94 season, just to give you an idea of how good I look. And
how was it? What was your experience?
It was great.
Yeah?
I loved it. It's funny. Obviously Mike Shoemaker.
Oh yeah, love
When I was there, I remember I had a great time. I got along with everybody, and I was scrappy. I just remember being shocked at how grown-ups behaved. I just remember just thinking, because I was a kid, I was just like, I can't believe grown-ups are acting this way, Like, people would have, like, big fights, Back then, it was like, there were, like, fist fights when I was there,
Really?
But it was awesome, and I remember at that time I had learned a craft. I had figured out a craft where you can take tampons, like a box of tampons, and dip them in water and then like whip them against a wall and they just splat and stay. They'll stay forever, but you can pull them off and they don't make a mark. But anyway, I did that in my office. I like whipped a wet tampon, like wet from water, I get into the corner. Psh, and anyway, I came back to SNL like 10 or 15 years later and I saw Mike Shoemaker and he goes, "Guess what's still in your office?" I couldn't
No way.
There.
No way. That's a craft that lives a long life.
I think that's a great craft for girls.
It really is. Yes. You co-created this new musical here, The Bedwetter.
Yeah.
I know you. Adam Schlesinger too. Gosh, I loved him. A talented human being.
Yeah. Clap for him.
Yeah. He's great. Of course.
He was a brilliant, hilarious songwriter, and he wrote a lot of the Crazy Ex-Girlfriend songs with Rachel Bloom, and he So we were friends. He's from that band Fountains of Wayne.
Fountains of Wayne, yeah, exactly.
We wrote the lyrics together, and he wrote all the music. And then he was one of the early deaths, COVID deaths. And yeah, so
we do miss him.
But now you're glad you clapped for him because you feel better.
Yeah, no, they were going to clap anyway. But I know you as a musical comedian. I know because I've seen you do bits. You sing songs. I've seen you rap. I mean, but were you always into musicals?
I grew up. I grew up in New Hampshire. My mom turned us on to all the musicals and everything. And it's interesting because the musical, The Bedwetter, is just about the year I'm 10, Okay. And so I'm not in it. It's like a little me, and there's someone plays. Shoshana Bean plays my mother.
No way.
So brilliant. And she was my first Elphaba, so it's very exciting. But in that moment of time, my mom was really in bed all the time because she had clinical depression, which, at the time was called your mother's lazy.
Yeah, at the time, that's what they called that, yeah.
But 2 years after that time that this takes place, my mom became the director of a local college. She a theater director, and she directed about 25 musicals in the next 20 years, and saw a star in everyone. Like, she died like 8 years ago, and at her funeral, like, anyone could get up and talk, and some guy got up, none of us knew who he was, and he goes, I was her waiter at Applebee's, and she asked me if I sang or acted, and I said, I don't know, and she said, why don't you come down and audition, and we'll find out. And that year, I was Curly in Oklahoma.
I love that story.
And I was in...
I love that story. That's so awesome. Yes.
You'll love this little addendum. I was actually, tomorrow I play Concord, New Hampshire, which is where I was born, and that's not possible, but thank you.
They're all from Concord, yeah.
But when I was 12, I was in the community theater production of Annie, and I played Annie, and it was a very New Hampshire Annie. Like, Daddy Warbucks is like, Annie, I want to be a father.
Everyone had an accent, yeah. But would your mom cast you in the plays?
No, my friends and I would be like the people that moved the stage, the props and stuff.
Yeah, but I remember you reading maybe that your mom was very honest with you. It was always...
my mother couldn't lie, and there's good and bad things. But I remember her saying, like, when people take your picture, tilt your head down because otherwise your nostrils look like a two-car garage. I took it as shoot for the stars.
Yeah, exactly.
You know who one of her one of her actors was? This actress, Jennifer Simard, who is starring in Death Becomes Her.
Oh my gosh, right now on Broadway.
So that's really cool. She's so brilliant, and she was in all my mom's plays in New Hampshire.
I also love the tag on here, if you can zoom into there. Comedy legends aren't born, they're made in middle school. Yeah.
I'll be honest, the one I wanted was just Wicked Pissa.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, Adam and I both went with that. They went with that, that's good too.
Yeah. Well, congratulations on this. Your mother will be very proud. Sarah Silverman, everybody, for tickets to The Bedwetter. Go to arenastage.org. Bobby Cannavale joins us after the break. Stick around. Hey, hey.